Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Let me move over just a bit so the glare from the whiteboard is not so prominent. Hey, happy Wednesday. I pray that you all have had a phenomenal day. I pray that you all are well. I pray that your families are well. I pray that you received great news on today. I pray that, what are all of the things that I pray? I pray that you are preparing to rest up and relax. I pray that your day was phenomenal. I pray that you smiled more than you frowned. I actually pray that you didn't frown at all today. And my prayer is that you always have more smiles and laughter than you ever have sadness or anger or disappointment. So, welcome. For those of you all who do not know me, my name is Dr. JaNee Mobley. I'm affectionately known as Dr. JaNee, and I help amazing women turn their purpose into a profitable business, all while helping them to overcome mindsets that prevent them from progress, prevent them from profiting, progressing, and prosperity. So I am so grateful that you are joining me, whether it's live or whether you're watching this on replay. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was literally about to go to sleep, like literally. And it's amazing. I kind of believe, no, it's not I kind of believe. God speaks to me in some of the most interesting ways. So, just as a FYI, I am a believer. I believe that Jesus Christ, God created Jesus Christ to die for my sins that I might have life and have it more abundantly, and I choose an abundant life. So, a lot of the things that I share with you all, a lot of the things that I say are built on the foundation of me being a believer and being a child of the only living and true God. Okay. So I was literally thinking about going to bed or working on something else. I'm actually in the process of working on the state of the profiting purpose woman, right? And that I will be, hold on, it's a gnat or a fruit fly. I don't like it. But anyway, so it was flying around and it just caught my attention. But anyway, and I'm in the process of working on that. So I'll be sharing the three mindsets that profiting purpose women actually have. I'll be releasing that date. If you want to make sure that you know and find out when that event will be, make sure you click the link below, and also you will get access to the 5 mistakes that women make that prevent them from profiting from their purpose. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. But in any given rate, I literally was about to go to bed and I decided to head on over. Good evening, y'all. I decided to head on over to Instagram. And it's amazing how God speaks to me. So before I can even begin to share my reel, right? Begin to share my reel. The first, and I had never even seen this woman live. I believe she's Grace Boutique on hello, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are. Thank you all for joining me. Make sure you all share this link. And I'm like, okay. So I get on there and I read her caption. Hello, I read her caption. And the first thing she says is, y'all, I'm going live every day for the next X amount of days so that I can shift up these algorithms. And I have been live every day, I believe, since Saturday. Right? So when I saw that, I was like, okay, God, I'm going to yield. I'm going to do what you want me to do. So let me head on over to YouTube. And that's why I'm here with you all on tonight. So tonight we're going to talk about, and for those of you all who do not know exactly, y'all, I know y'all are just joining me. Again, as I stated, I help women turn their purpose into a turn their purpose into a profitable business, all while teaching them to overcome mindsets that prevent them from progressing, profiting, and prospering. So tonight we're going to talk about, I want you all to chime in the the chats if you know that you have a business idea or you have a business and you have moments, or you may be sitting in it right now where you're like, you know what, you want to give up. You don't know if this gonna work. You have doubt. You are frustrated, aggravated. You don't know where to start, right? I want you all to make sure. Hi, Pam. Good evening. Good evening. How are you? Thank you for joining me. Good evening, y'all. Y'all come on in. I want you all to make sure that you share in the comments if you've ever been frustrated, ever been aggravated. If you feel like, literally feel like giving up on your purpose, you know that God has given you an idea. He's given you a vision. He's giving you a purpose. And glad to hear that glad to see that you are doing well, Pam. Thank you for speaking. And you know that there's something, y'all, it's a fruit fly. So if y'all see me do that, that's what's going on, right? So, and y'all may see it as it's flying by. But you know that it's something that God wants you to do. And sometimes it gets, frustrating. It gets aggravating. If I mispronounce your name, forgive me. So I'm going to try and pronounce it. Yuna from South Korea. It's good to see you all. So tonight we're going to talk about, I'm going to share 3 things that I literally always try to keep focused on and helping me to continue to progress and move in my purpose. First, we have to understand this, that your purpose is a duty. So looking at it from a biblical standpoint, for those of us who are believers, in Jeremiah chapter 1, God tells Jeremiah, and I want you to picture it, Jeremiah is a little boy, right? And God literally tells Jeremiah, I've called you to be a prophet. Now, mind you, you have to think about the mindset of Jeremiah. Jeremiah is young. Jeremiah is a boy. And he is looking at himself like, literally, you talking to me? Like, he begins to question what God has instructed him to do, because he's one sidebar. Jeremiah is seeing himself as himself instead of seeing himself through the eyes of God. So that, if I can give you the first tip is make sure that you begin to ask God to open up your eyes, that he will help you to see you in the same way that he will help you to see you in the same way that he sees you. So although Jeremiah was a boy, God is literally saying, look, I'm going to use you. So for those of you all who feel like, or maybe people have minimized you, your experiences have minimized you, trauma has minimized you, or you have minimized yourself because you are comparing or have compared yourself to other people, this is for you. Right? So I want you to understand, just as God called Jeremiah to be a prophet, even at a young age, God wasn't seeing Jeremiah as a physical stature, at his physical stature, nor his age. He saw Jeremiah spiritually and who he created and formed him to be. Because the scripture tells us that before he formed us, and you can make this personal, before he formed you in the womb of your mother's belly, he knew you. Right? So I want you, and I always say this, I want you to think about your favorite brand, the things that you love to purchase. Thank you all for the hearts. I want you to think about if you ever wanted to know why, let's say, YouTube was created or these social media platforms were created, right? I want you to, what would you do? You would then go to the creators of these products and ask them, or these different platforms, and say, well, what was your mission? What was your reason? Why did you create? Gosh, that little fruit fly is just really a nag. But anyway, I'm not going to let it distract me. But you would ask the creators of those individual platforms, why did you create YouTube? What was your mission? What was your intention? Why? Right? And I'm sure they would begin to chime off and share why they created these different things that they created, right? My hair is on my head. God bless you. And I love you anyway, right? My mom used to always say, and I'm probably wrong for saying this, but people will never know just how, I ain't gonna say that. Let me just keep going. Let me keep going, because it's a whole distraction. But what was I saying, Jesus? So yeah, so in that same way, the understanding that I have grabbed from that experience that Jeremiah, an encounter that Jeremiah had with God, is that if you ever wanted to know why you were created and the value that is upon your life, you would talk to the very one who created you. So he tells Jeremiah, I knew you before I formed you in the womb of your mother's belly. That lets me know this, that before God even began to put eyes on our heads, he knew what he wanted us to do. He knew what the intention was. So this lets me know that the mindset and the personality of God is that he never does anything haphazardly, and neither should we. Nothing that you do should ever be haphazard. It should always be, and there should always be a strategy behind it. What is the intention? Even when we look at God creating Jesus Christ. Even when God created Jesus Christ, there was an intention. Right? So when you look at your purpose, the first thing I want you to consider is your why. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Your why. Just as God created Jesus Christ with the intention that we might be saved and that our sins would be remitted and washed away, that was one of the reasons why God brought Jesus Christ to this world. So God is strategic. God is intentional. So this lets us know that you moving in your purpose and anything that you do, you must be strategic and intentional about everything that you do. This is why your time is one of the most valuable assets that you have that can work against you if you do not use it wisely. So the first thing I want you to ask yourself, if you feel like giving up on your purpose, if you feel disappointed, if you feel discouraged, be like God. What was your intention? What was your why? I remember some years ago, hold on, y'all. I remember some years ago, I joined, back then it was back then it was prepaid legal. Now the company is known as Legal Shield. Amazing company. And when I was brought on, one of the women who brought me on, the first thing that she asked me is, she said, JaNee, I want to know your why. And I'm like, and mind you, I'm in my early 20s. This was my first exposure to entrepreneurship. All I knew was I wanted to make some money. I mean, hey, why, in my mind, it's like, why do we go into business if we don't want to make money? And she said, JaNee, you need to identify why you want to be in business, because when it gets tough, you need to always remember your why so that it will keep you focused. And that has stuck with me. So you moving in your purpose, understanding that God brought you here for a reason. So you are a reason. You are a part of a strategy to get someone else delivered or to help them with some area of their life. You are a solution. And I want you to always see yourself as this. You are a solution to someone's problem. You have a solution to someone's problem. Always remember that. As a believer, we are made in the image and likeness of God. And Jesus is and was the solution. It is by his blood, by the grace of God, that we are saved when we make the decision to accept Jesus Christ as our Savior. Right? So I want you to understand, you have to identify why you are in business. Why are you desiring to push forward in your purpose, whether it's doing hair, whether it's doing nails? What is your why? Why are you doing this? And here's the thing. This is one thing that she told me when she brought me into prepaid legal is, she said, JaNee, your why has to make you cry, and it has to go beyond money. So the bigger question is, what will you do with the money? Who will you serve with the money? What opportunities and doors will be open because of the money that you make from profiting from your purpose? It has to be much more deeper than I just want to make money. Okay, once you make your first sale, then what? Then once you profit, then what? Okay, I'm going to sell some more. Okay, then what? What is your vision? What? And I want you to think big. I want to stretch your thinking. What organizations can you help? What associations, what institutions can you support? What injustices do you that bother you that you know need financial backing to ensure that they go in the right direction? And you got to think like that. So this is what you profiting from your purpose will allow you to do. Do you have children that you want to put in private school, or you want to move to a different area, or you want to take them out of the country and expose them to different experiences? Think about, and I want you to think why, and I want you to think deep. And when I say from a perspective of deep, when I say why, it's your immediate. It's like your immediate now, your children. But deep is from the standpoint of generational. So what will you do generationally with the money that you have? What can this do for your children's children? You got to think deeper. You got to think a whole lot deeper, because the money that you are making ain't for you. It's not just for you. This is to position your bloodline to do even greater. That's what this is about. I remember a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not a big sports fan, but I came across on social media, I believe it when it aired, about LeBron James's son, how he literally was positioned to prosper into and transitioning into the NBA. And a lot of people had a lot of, negative feedback. And here was my shift. As parents, right? As parents, our responsibility, the Bible tells us that a good man or a good woman, right, leaves an inheritance for his children's children. I'm going to say that again. The Bible tells us that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So the fact that this man, that God blessed him with being very successful in not only in the National Basketball Association, he also has blessed him from a place of great influence. So this man, when I say this man, I mean LeBron James set a foundation, a new foundation, wealth-wise, for his family. Not just his sons, but his children's children. So the money that, and here's the thing, the money that you make ain't for you. Think about how much different your life would have been had you had your grandparents and your great grandparents left you multiple real estate properties, left you a trust that released so many millions of dollars to you at a certain age once you got educated about finances, economics, and entrepreneurship. How would your life be different had you stepped into and been born into wealth? How would your life be different? So here's the thing. You are in a position to position your children and their children and their children in a better place. And this is what profiting from your purpose will allow you to do. Period. You got to think bigger. And this is something that I am still learning. God is still stretching me. He is literally still stretching me. I'm gonna get that fruit fly, y'all. I'm gonna get that fruit fly. I'm gonna get it. right? So always remember your why. Number two, to help you to make sure that you keep going in your building, profiting from your purpose, is always remember this: it's not about you. In the book of Jeremiah, when God, here's the thing, when God calls and creates a prophet to come on here on this earth and do what prophets do, prophets come to correct. Overall, prophets come to tear down some things. So it's not going to be pretty. So Jeremiah's job was not a pretty job. Jeremiah's purpose was not a pretty nor easy purpose. But the intent was it that they would be saved, that they would change their ways. Do you understand? You profiting and moving in your purpose and not giving up on it is not about you. It's about the assignment that God gave you. I'm looking at my notes to make sure I stay focused. Right? It's about the assignment. Let me go to Jeremiah chapter 1 real quick. Hold on. Because I always love to look at it. I just think that is amazing. What God tells Jeremiah. Right? So here's the thing, right? He told Jeremiah, and here's the thing, he told Jeremiah what the assignment was going to be. And here's the thing that I love about God. In this passage, this one chapter, he literally he tells Jeremiah what he wants him to do. And every excuse that Jeremiah gives him, God provides a solution. So Jeremiah says in the 6th verse, after he tells him that before he formed him in the womb of his mother's belly, he ordained him to be a prophet unto the nations, just summarizing that up. So Jeremiah's response is, then said I, Lord, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. But he said, and here's God's response. And here's the other thing that I get from this, that Jeremiah was honest and transparent. Whenever you don't feel like you are good enough, whenever you feel like you're inadequate as a child of the Most High King, you can go to your Father and say, God, this is where I am. Yes, you told me to do this, but this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm confronted with. This is how I feel. He was honest and transparent. And as a result, God told him, but the Lord said unto me, say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go into all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. So he was literally telling Jeremiah, look, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to tell these people. All you got to do is follow directions, which lets me know that if God has given me a purpose, he's given me everything that I need to make sure that I'm successful at it. So for those of you all who feel like you're not good enough, or you feel like you don't have all of the answers, you serve a God who has every answer that you need. The Bible tells us ask. And what comes after, at the end of a question mark. And what do we expect? I'm almost done. At the end of a question, when we ask a question, we expect an answer. So remember, your assignment ain't about you, and God will prepare you. He'll give you everything that you need to do everything that he's called you to do. And let me put this here. It doesn't always come easy. Entrepreneurship, pursuing your purpose, profiting from your purpose is not an easy thing. Because if it was easy, everybody would do it and everybody would stay in the game. And people wouldn't give up. So if you ever feel like, dog, is it supposed to be this hard? It's a shift in mindset. Because I dare you to ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn from this experience? Even when it's hard. Even when they say no. God, what am I supposed to learn? One of the things that I truly understand when I don't get the responses that I want, I'm understanding that there's something for me to learn. Here's the thing, and notate this, and I'm sure you can agree with me when I say this. I learn more from my challenges and setbacks than I do from my successes. Because the great thing and the positive thing about a challenge or a setback or something not going the way that I want it to go, it gives me the opportunity to sit back and observe and identify what needs to be improved. But many people look at it as a failure and then they just throw their hands up. When it's not a failure, it's an opportunity to refine what you already have. That's it. When the former marketing strategy that you just released did not do as well as you wanted it to do, then here's the question that you ask: why didn't it? And it may not be that it just didn't work. It may be a part of your process. And here's the thing, it's also to break you out of certain mindsets. We want, as human beings, naturally, we want these instant results. We do it in health, we do it in relationships, and we do it in our finances. In health and weight loss, people want to lose 50 pounds in 5 days. In relationships, we want people to be perfect. We want to turn around in everything quick. And here's the thing, don't get me twisted. I believe that God can do exceedingly abundantly above all that I could ever ask or think, according to the power that worketh in me. But one of the things that I truly understand about God, process is so essential to make something quality and lasting. I'm going to say that again. Processes, that time span, is essential to the longevity, and that's probably not what I said the first time. It's essential to the longevity of whatever it is that you're creating. I want you to think about a baby. So when children are conceived, 9 times out of 10, the goal is for the pregnancy to last anywhere from 38 to 40 weeks, right? Some go over 2 weeks, some go less than 2 weeks. God forbid you go any less than that, right? So why do we have to wait so long before we get to see this person? Well, it's a part of the growth process. It's a part of the perfecting of who God created. And here's the thing, the last trimester is essential because essential organs need to fully form before the baby comes into this earth. One of the main organs are the lungs. You want your baby's lungs to be fully formed before they come out of the womb. Why? Because if your lungs are not fully formed, then you can cause a plethora of issues. The same thing holds true in profiting from your purpose. We want to, and here's the thing, I've been guilty of it. This is how I can tell y'all. Okay? We put up a post, we write a book, put the link and the Amazon link up, and we want to sell out in one night, not realizing that you may not even have the volume to supply the demand that you are expecting God for. Just like from the time that baby is conceived, there are things that need to happen to ensure that this baby is born healthy. So you need to make sure that even when you get no's and things don't work out and you put that post up or that marketing strategy and you try it and it doesn't go as well as you want it to go, don't get discouraged. This is making you, this is molding you. You go back to the lab and you identify what you need to refine, what you need to add. And here is the thing, it may just be consistency. One thing that I want you to understand, a lot of times when we're selling stuff, we forget that we're also buyers. No, we also have to remember that we are buyers. And every ad that pops up, guess what? You don't always buy it. And for some of the ads that may pop up on social media, you may have had to see those particular companies several times before you make a buying decision. The same thing holds true when people are buying from you. They got to develop a relationship with you. And the only way that they can develop a virtual relationship with you is through your presence. You got to be consistent. What does that look like? Posting every day, sharing shorts and reels every day, showing up live, giving people the opportunity of getting to know you virtually. And it's exciting. Yes, we excited about our products and services. And yes, we want people to buy immediately. But guess what? Your ideal clients don't know you. And here's the thing. You may come across a couple of people who going to buy very, very quickly. But that is not the case every single time. Majority of people take several exposures before they decide to pull out their wallet or pull out their card or what have you and make a purchase. So a lot of times it may not be your product, it may not be your service or whatever. It just may be the fact that whomever you want to buy from you, you just haven't shown up consistently. That's it. You got to be consistent. And I'm not just talking about for a week. Okay? All right. So I'm gonna wrap this up with one. How do you continue to move forward in your purpose when you feel like giving up on it? Always remember your why. Remember, the first thing is remember that God is intentional and strategic about everything that he does. So we need to be the same way. Number two, create your why and revisit your why if you already created one and add to it. Number three, always remember that your assignment ain't about you. It's about God's intention and why he created you. So I appreciate you all for joining me. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and also click the link below to get your free gift. And I'll see y'all next time. Have an amazing evening. And remember to know your worth. Good night, y'all. Bye.